intro gets me every single time. Volume 14, the Banana and B podcast. I'm the Banana. There's the B. And then right there is UFC stud, ultimate fighter, winner, champion, Pooh Bear Bryan Battle.
Let's get it, baby.
But he's, you know what the thing is? He's not the champion at Mortal Kombat. But I'll give it to him.
We're already started.
The ultimate
We're already
fighter.
started.
That's
The
called beginner's luck.
fighter, baby.
It's called beginner's luck. But you know what? We'll run it back. Don't worry.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat's not going anywhere. And neither am I, damn it.
Connor beat Dustin the first time, but then Dustin won volume 2 and volume 3.
Yes. And then I'm trying to think of another trilogy. I mean, sometimes someone wins all the trilogy fights. That's always a weird thing, but you know, that's besides the point. You know what I'm saying? Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna smoke Taylor next time.
When you sleep on me.
We're so pumped, guys. This is a really fun, familiar. This has been a lot. This is a lot of love in the room right now today, guys. This is multiple years, the struggles, the grinds. When we were just this, we were this, and now we're almost there. We're almost there. We are flying. Taylor Bare Knuckle FC Superstar Fight of the Year last year. Knucklemania, maybe we'll see. Who knows? We got Bryan Battle. Talk to him 2-0, 1-0, 3-0. This guy is 6-1. Ultimate Fighter champ, UFC, fighting 3 weeks, 4 weeks away. This man's a stud. And then me, come on now. I just like
I
do that
how
for
many
breakfast.
subscribers on the Five Bananas, the Dave Van Auken show? You got everything going on.
Just crazy.
The Fight Bananas network is ginormous. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just happy to be on the banana tree. You know what I'm saying?
On the banana tree.
I'm using that.
All right, Bryan Battle, one of my good friends, training partners. How are you today?
Dude, I'm doing good.
What's going on? You had the craziest 2021. You had a baby. You win the Ultimate
holidays,
Fighter.
UFC,
all
everything.
of it.
Dude, and I mean, really, my December 5th to December 5th, December 5th, 2020, December 5th, 2021. Yeah, that was busy because December 5th got married. Then, fought in February. Then figured out my wife was pregnant when I got back from that fight. Then we went to the Ultimate Fighter. Then, come back, finale, have the baby. Other people's wedding. It's been a wild ride. But, I mean, kind of like you said, I mean, this is all those years,
right.
You're waking up at 4:30 in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Working ungodly amount of hours. This is what you're working towards, you know what I'm saying? To be able to live this crazy lifestyle. So, I'm going to ride the wave as long as possible. You know what I mean?
Do you think that when you found out that Caitlin was pregnant, Caitlin's Bryan's wife, when you found out that Caitlin was pregnant and with the Ultimate Fighter and everything, it definitely obviously had to give you a different motivation and inspiration and drive towards that goal. So what do you think that how that amped you up?
Well, it was amped is an interesting word. It was more sense of urgency because I could feel my time slipping out of my hand. You know what I'm saying? All the hard work I knew that once a child came, you got to provide for that child. My ability to train and continue to build on my skills was gonna at least in my head I thought it was gonna become a lot harder. So I was really do or die time. I was all right, I need to win this show. I was I already felt confident about winning the show, but now it's all right, I need to win this show so I can make money and provide for a family and continue my dream. The whole nine.
I definitely want to put a bow on this, and I'll keep on bringing it up. The thread of this show for 40 minutes, if we go that long, should be, man, everyone now sees Taylor Starling, right? Everyone now sees Bryan Battle. I know you were joking a little bit, but the brand of the Fight Bananas, and we just hit 200,000 followers on Facebook. Guy, no one sees that. They see that picture, that one post now. They're oh, that's awesome. No one sees all the fucking work us three have put into waking up at 3:30, going to bed at 1 a.m., uploading the video, getting early for cardio.
Crying in the shower.
Yeah, guys. Me too. No one sees what we've missed and trips away from family members and significant others and all that. No one sees the grind and the hard work. And that's what I just want to push to the forefront. Like, yeah, life is super good right now. We are all in a weird way living out our dreams, which is amazing. 3% of America people can say that. Everyone else is doing a 9-to-5 job that they do not like or love. We're doing what we like or love, which is awesome. But no one sees the work and the piles and the the boulders on the shoulders we are carrying. So I just want to keep pushing that to the forefront all episode.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And then, okay, Bryan, so you got to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. February 5th, Tresean Gore. It's one of those fun fights where it was like supposed to happen. I remember when I was making my debut, he was a name that was on the table. You know what I'm saying? There's been several times where,
really that far back because I had such a hard time finding a debut fight.
I remember before my debut, I had like 9 total fallouts before my debut. And there was 2 weeks out from when I was supposed to make my debut. Trey was like throwing his name into the hat, and by that point I was like, I can't make weight. But then there was multiple other times afterwards where we were like this close to fighting each other, whether it was like a weird money thing or whether he couldn't make weight for the fight. There was a couple, and then of course we're supposed to fight each other for the finale of the Ultimate Fighter. You know what I'm saying? And then he got a boo-boo, so he had to he got a boo-boo, so he had to step out for a little bit. I hope he is 100% now. I hope he's been able to train at 100% so that there's no excuses. You know what I'm saying? Once I fight this man Trey, I want him to know what's up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? February 5th, we're putting that behind us. We're looking for some real UFC names. You know what I mean?
Ooh. I can feel it. It's like training with Bryan, and like seeing how intense he gets, like sparring and grappling and everything. And like it's just like he fucking loves it so much. And he has like this different kind of like confidence. So I'm just like, I have chills. Like, here's what it's gonna be good.
When Gore got out of the fight, was there a 1%, 2%? Was it a 50%? Was there a letdown of, man, like you guys deserved, you guys fought in this tournament, you guys made it there to this crescendo of the finale? Was there a little bit of a low, or is like, no, absolutely not? The goal wasn't Tresean Gore when I got into the house. The goal was to win the Ultimate Fighter, get that contract for your family and the newborn coming. Was that always the goal, or his name was just a replaceable name?
It would have been like the icing on top of the cake. You know what I'm saying? The gravy on the mashed potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Like the substance was the trophy, the contract. You know what I mean? And like I would have loved to take out the best guys on my way to that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
kind of did. You kind of did.
Well, but I mean, in the finale, Trey, because like now there's room. Personally, to me, it's in the past. Like the finale was in August. You know what I'm saying? Like making it to the finale is just as important as winning the finale. You know what I'm saying? That's part of it. Maintaining your health and whatnot. So he didn't meet the requirements, but there's still people talking on the internet, and it's one of those things where it doesn't necessarily bother me, but it's going to make me very happy to rub it in their faces. Like, I'll be like, hey, all you guys who thought I was going to get knocked out. What's up, baby? You know what I mean? Like, what's happening? But yeah, like I said,
Bryan, you keep on doing this in your career. Taylor keeps on doing that. I'm doing baby steps. The trolls on the internet are there. They will always be there, and they're only going to get absolutely louder the higher all of us get in our own personal careers. So I literally, it's funny. I used to, there was a chip. Like every now and then I would read something or something. I'm like, okay, add that to the chip. But now it's like, I'm running so fast. These things are like on my shoulder and they just keep falling off because I'm just running so fast. I'm only worried about myself. So, you're a grown man that could do better grown man stuff than I can. But just one little tip of man, those trolls are trolls, man. Like they are like, I say this all the time. Who has 35 seconds or a minute and a half of time to type another grown person a negative thing on the internet? Like that blows my mind.
Well, what's crazy to me isn't that, but it's like when people leave. I tell you, I made a tweet about Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And I thought I thought like 10 people were gonna comment, like I was actually gonna interact with the fans, and that like I was like, oh, I just gotta like let this thing sit here and cook, because there's no like you said,
Yeah.
people were like leaving like they were doing research and leaving like paragraphs on it. I'm like, dude, I can't do this with you guys. I can't compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you said, I don't got the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
So what would you say, like, what is like one of the craziest, like, stupidest comments that you've gotten from like a troll? Like, just something like just coming at you for no reason. Because like we sit and talk about this all the time. Because I get, of course, like ridiculous stuff. But
my goodness,
what's
I don't
what's the worst?
Go through your Instagram DMs.
I know.
I'm scared. Holy cow. The one that stands out the most to me, this one's pretty raunchy. It's pretty raunchy, and it was literally out of nowhere. Like, it was just like a comment underneath like a picture right before the TUF fight, and they were like, hey, they commented, it's at the very bottom of the comment section, right? And they're like, hey, this is me like cleaning it up a little bit.
No, let it fly. Let it fly.
Oh boy. It was, I want to say, he was like, hey, you know, I really like your fighting. You think maybe after you win the finale, you know, you can meet me backstage and we can, you know, do what some men shake hands, but not with our hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a funny comment. I can't remember exactly what he said. But I read it and it caught me so off guard. And I laughed out loud and I screenshotted it and sent it to my whole fight team. I
get like, yeah, that's like so just like so calm compared to what I get.
No, I believe it, dude. I believe it. That's why I'm like, but
then there's like some haters, like some serious haters. Like the creepy stuff, I'm like, whatever. I could just like laugh at that. But like, the ones that are just like, I fucking hate you. I hope you die. Like, I'm like, you don't even know me. Like,
I don't think anyone's wished death on me yet. I don't think I'm, you know,
it's coming.
Taylor Starling. I'm not at that level yet where I got people wishing death threats.
When you beat me at Mortal Kombat, I'll be your first one.
Guys, could you make a burner account and leave me?
I'm gonna make a ghost account.
Message. It'll make, because I feel like when I get to that place where I get death threats, I'll be like, all right, cool. I must be really doing shit now. Yeah, facts.
He's gonna know when he beats me at Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna make a fake account and then go on his page and be like,
so
Brian, to me,
the Taylor, get ready for her to have a fake account.
The best ones, Brian, are that when people, you know, just a common guy, you know, he's a bank accountant, got a great job, you know, has a daughter and a son, has a good career, and he gets on his social media platforms and he yells at you when you win a fight, when you defeat another grown man at the same weight for you, and you beat him up over 15 minutes and control him and tell his body what to do, but you don't submit the guy or you don't beat him to a pulp, and the referee doesn't stop, but you get a unanimous decision, which is like 63% of all UFC fights end in a unanimous decision because two grown men at the same weight want the same goal. And these people go like, oh, Brian, why wouldn't you not finish the guy? Like, why don't you work a little bit harder and win that way? It's like, that blows my, that's the one that's like, I just want to jump through the screen and just grab some of these guys.
Well, I tell you what was a really eye-opening experience was after I got back from TUF, because, you know, the show was like 5 weeks, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't super long, but it was stretched out over 12 weeks. And, you know, people just had, like, just reading, because I would, like, go back and see, like, how people felt about it. And I was, like, watching, I was like, wow, everyone really has no idea what's happening, right? You know what I'm saying? It's people make their own narratives in their head, and it's just you know, kind of like you said, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look at it, you chuckle, you laugh, and you just gotta keep on, you know, make notes.
What is like something, I want to hear some weird, like, what's something crazy, weird, or like some off the wall story that you have from the TUF house? Because you're in a house with a bunch of men, and like, you guys probably had, and you're wild, so I'm sure that they were all wild.
Man, dude, I think they need to change the format of that show. Like, I think they need to stop doing the home videos. I think they need to just let the fighters They just need to have more house clips because I feel like the show would be dramatically more entertaining if they were just showing us doing stupid shit around the house, because we did do a lot of stupid stuff around the house. You know what I'm saying? Not nearly as stupid as like some past seasons, like no doors. Actually, they took all the doors down so no one could break any doors. So there was no doors to break. But there was no doors to break because they didn't want us breaking any doors. There was a lot of pranks that we couldn't do because people had did these pranks in the past and there was so much damage done. They were like, yeah, you can't throw eggs at the other team because it's going to ruin the paint. You know, just stuff like that. But my favorite thing that never made it was me and Ryder. We went streaking probably like 3 times, I want to say. And one of those times was through the Apex. That was pretty, you know, I think we're the only people to streak through the Apex to this day. You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't verify that information, but I think so.
No, I think you win that. You win that.
There was after the Cameron, I forget what happened. We started because we didn't drink very much when we were on the show. Like everyone.
Do they let weed on the show?
No.
Like, they don't let weed on the show. They don't let it on.
Here's what I'm gonna say, right? Here's
like, skinny.
Like, all right, so you're in Vegas, yeah. And you can't bring anything yourself, right? Like, right. I'm sure if anyone would have tried to bring something, it would have got confiscated, right? But I mean, you know, Vegas, it's legal in Vegas, you know, per USADA rules now, you know what I'm saying? As long as you're not intoxicated in competition, you know, you're okay. And so, you know, at that point, it's just a matter of how do you get your hands on it? And, you know, like, I'm not saying anything, but, you know, someone's coaches or someone had a coach that was more inclined to have something on them, you know, maybe they would have passed it off. I don't know. I can't say anything, you know, because I personally have no idea.
That's classic. That's good shit.
So if you could change it, like, I mean, everything played out perfectly and Volk was the perfect coach for you. But like, if you had to go back, like if you had the option to choose any other fighter, like besides Volk to be your coach, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a really good question.
That's a great question, Taylor Starling. Host of the Banana and Meat podcast.
Like, it could be anybody. And I'm not like throwing Volk on the bus. I'm just saying, like,
no.
If you went back and they said, hey, you're going to be on the Ultimate Fighter, but you get to pick your coach, who's it going to
be? I got a good one for you, Bryan. You ready?
Let me hear it.
How about Glover Teixeira?
I mean, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I mean, there's definitely
he's got so much knowledge.
So much knowledge. He's been around the game forever.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Cain Velasquez because I used to love Cain Velasquez, and he's just somebody where it's like I like the way he fights. He's like a Terminator. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Cain, you know, give me some tips, baby. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Or DC. Any one of those guys that have like stupid wrestling and he can just wrestle. Khabib. You know what I mean? Freaking, I mean, holy cow. This is like a box that, because even going on to the show, I didn't care about whose team I ended up on until after the evaluation. After the evaluation, I had kind of a sour taste in my mouth because of how some of those things went. So, but if honestly, the name that came to my head first when you said that was Robbie Lawler, just because he's like my favorite fighter.
You love Robbie Lawler.
I love Robbie Lawler. Like, technique aside, just like the first name that popped in my head as soon as you asked that question was Robbie Lawler, because he's
it'll be a good one.
Dude, look at this. Look at Taylor Starling being a host asking the deep questions.
The hostess with the mostest.
Hey, yo.
Hey, so I got a Volk thing for you. You know, we talked about it. Dave Van Auken show 5-6 months ago, and how great Volk was on and off the set and everything of that nature. The two kind of questions mainly for him is, one, what do you think of everything that happened now? UFC 272, Max Holloway is out. They were going to do the trilogy fight. Did you sense that, one, he kind of did he ever talk about Max Holloway in those 5 weeks? And a lot of people off the beaten path thinks Max won, maybe one or even both fights. So did that ever come up?
Yeah.
And now, two is Volkanovski like shocks the world. Literally earlier today, he's eating a chicken wing, and his caption is "lightweight baby." Like that,
Oh, wait a second, I didn't see that. I didn't see that post.
Yeah, Volkanovski like throwing that out there. He thinks he's a horrible matchup for Charles Oliveira, and I know he's a shorter guy, stockier guy. All that. I agree, though. I think he can cardio, pace, wrestle, grapple. You don't want to get in some bad jit spots with Oliveira. But I think he can beat the man. I think he's that good. So just those two things. What Max Holloway and 155. Is that an option maybe for Volk?
So with Volk, he definitely brought up the Holloway fight, but when he brought it up, he would always bring it because he had no like insecurity about it. He didn't have to explain himself. You know what I'm saying? If he brought up the Holloway fight, he was bringing it up as far as like their tactics and how back and forth they went and how many times they had to change strategy. Like he used it as like, like
a lesson?
Like a lesson almost, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, there was never really, and then especially because at that point, I think he was just so focused on Ortega. Like, and I think as they spent more and more time on the show with each other, like I think at first they were kind of like, play beef. I think Volk was like, hey, let's have like a little, let's talk some shit or whatever. But then as the show went on, like and maybe it was because we're all like in that bubble, you know what I'm saying? And things get blown out of proportion, but you could definitely tell towards the end of the show they really just weren't very big fans of each other. And
real quick, let me interrupt real quick, Brian, then we'll hit the lightweight thing. Big part of the show, one of the biggest pranks on the show, Taylor, I don't know if you saw it on The Ultimate Fighter, is that they brought a humongous snake into their locker room.
Several.
Taylor knows this. I don't know if you know this, Brian. That's like that's my worst. Like I'll do skydiving. I'll sleep with spiders on me. Like I would do some crazy stuff. A garden snake in the studio right now, I would freak out. That life is over. Did you see the snake? Are you a snake guy? Are you not a snake guy? I would love for you to hit on that moment.
I almost shit my pants, man. I knew the snakes were in there too, because people had gone into the locker room first. They were like, oh my God, snakes. Or actually, the first thing I thought was someone said, oh shit. And so I was like, wow, they really took a dump in our locker room. Like, what assholes, you know what I'm saying? Because like that's the first thought that went across my head. But he actually said, oh, snakes. And so like I went in there and I was like, oh fuck, dude. Like, and you I try to step in there, and then like I was like, oh, this is fucked up, man. I don't like this at all. This is not, you know what I mean?
So what happened? Because I didn't see that part. Like Ortega put them in y'all's locker room.
Yeah, the Ortega got with some like famous reptile guy, and they brought a bunch of big ass snakes and put them in our locker room.
Like pythons, like 24 footers.
Like could eat a human kind of snake.
Oh no.
Yeah,
it was definitely an experience. Like it had my adrenaline all jacked up though. Like for the whole next training session, my adrenaline was like all over the place. Like I was like, damn, dude. Like the snakes fucked me up more than I thought they would. I didn't think I was afraid of snakes until I saw snakes that big. I was like, oh fuck, dude.
Yeah. And that's what people I don't think grasp sometimes enough. Like it is a show. It's a reality show. But what you just said, oh, they did it. Reality show, snakes. You did it. Oh, but then literally afterwards, you have to train. You are there to train. And like, like people don't grasp that it's like a crazy snake reality show. But then 20 minutes later, you're working on technique. You're working on guillotines or you're working on Doris, whatever it is. Yeah. It's pretty wild. But sorry to interrupt. Volkanovski, 155. No. What do you think of that?
I mean, dude. The guy used to walk around at 2. Yes. Like he played like semi-pro rugby at 200 plus, you know what I mean? His only loss ever was at welterweight, and that guy was ginormous. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that fight. That guy was just freaking gigantic. So, dude, after like watching Volk and being around Volk, he's like one of those guys where if he says he's gonna do something, I believe him. You know what I mean? Like, he's freaking Volk is a motherfucker, man. And, it's like, I don't think he'll ever get the credit he deserves because, he's got, I think when he talks, people think of the crocodile hunter. You know what I'm saying? He's like this, happy-go-lucky Australian guy who's like way shorter than everyone else he fights. But no, Volk is Volk is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah.
in that kind of situation, I don't think Oliveira's taking Volk down. And then on the feet, I think Volk just torches him. I think he's too fast. His movement's too
Cardio,
much.
pace, pushing, and
Cardio, pace, all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Taylor, you'll do next. And I know I'm running a little bit on this, but
No,
I'm so factuated with it. Like what you said too is like perfect. Like if Volkanovski drove up in a white Rolls Royce, had a chest tattoo, and wore crazy clothes and yelled at people, like he would be the biggest thing in the sport. Like he's so damn good in the octagon, but like that's not who Alexander is, right? He's very good guy. You said unassuming, quiet, like he's not a yeller. Like I'm telling you, like to me, and I know he's the champion and he's got multiple title defenses, and the fight versus Ortega was one of the best fights of last year. He's still, to me, one of the most underrated fighters in the game. He's just
100%.
that good. He should be top 3 pound for pound. Him and Usman should be very close talked about, and he's just not. He's not in that ballpark.
Well, I mean, if you go on the UFC video game, out of all the champs, he's probably got the worst face out of all of them. Like you're like, who did you make this model after? Like this can't be after Volk. This is terrible. But yeah, and it's one of those things. And I know, like, I know Taylor will know what I'm talking about. But it's like in fighting, you know, it's like that balance between, because like having a character like takes energy. At least that's how I feel. Like having a character like takes energy. And it's like finding that balance between having a character that people can get invested in, and also being a badass enough fighter to, you know, back up and, you know, give that character some substance. Like that's rough. You know what I'm saying? Or finding that balance, because, you know, you want to just be like a badass fighter, but no one cares about you if you're just a badass fighter. If that's it, you know what I'm saying? For the most part,
with me,
at
least. I enjoy that people love me for me being myself. I'm oh God, thank God you guys make my life a lot easier. I'm like, but I am like this all the time.
You a wild gal. You know what I'm saying? You're dancing and shit.
I'm wild. I'm just not like wild in the sense of like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to do all that.
I think at the core of it, that's where I think people who are themselves and they can kind of shine in their own self at the end of the day, those are the people that will, to me, go the absolute furthest, because they're not acting, they're not putting on the show. Even like Conor versus Dustin, like the second fight, Conor was a different guy and it was just weird. And then he lost and then he went another way. It was like, so like, even with that, like more than ever, you know that it's a show. It's a lot of a show. The Colby Covington thing, like, he was such a good, nice dude. I know a ton of people's like, dude, in training, he's one of the best guys in the gym. He's super nice. He's very hopeful. He's a hardworking guy, American guy. Like, he's got a lot of things. And then he put on a little bit of an act. And it's like, you know, there's a niche there. And I do get it. I'm a professional wrestling guy. So I do get what he's doing. But it's like, at the end of the day, that's why I never think Covington can kind of get to the next level, if that makes sense, because he's not himself. He's not really that character. So
no, I because I mean, there's a certain point where the alter ego takes over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what happened to Conor. You know what I'm saying? Like, Conor lost himself. You know, but yeah,
he also loses fights now too.
Oh, that's like all he does. Oh no! Oh, Conor, what happened, baby? We were doing so well.
Just to be fair, I never liked Conor McGregor. So
I was a little bit on the like a little bit of a like DL fan. Like, I would never admit out in the open that I like Conor McGregor, but I appreciated his story. Like, I was
thank you. Yeah, you killed it there. This story, his rise was amazing, and so much of it is documented. That Netflix movie is so good, Notorious. Yeah. And it just shows him struggling and grinding and struggling. And I have a lot of affection to it and connectability to it and love for that. Then the rise was great. And it's also, I say this to you know, Brian, you know how much I love this. Any person that's going to bring eyes to mixed martial arts, to the UFC, and hopefully bring more money into all the fighters' pockets. And at the end of the day, when Conor's on a card, it trickles down and everyone gets more. Like, it's just it's better for the bottom line. So, like, I've always respected that. But then, like, it got too far. After even that Eddie Alvarez thing, it got far. And then everything after that, anything with Khabib and the Dustins and even Cowboy, the return, Floyd Money Mayweather, everything past the Eddie. It's just, it's off the table.
Well, I mean, it was like you said, before Jose, everything he said was like, you know, fight shit talking. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I think you're slow. I think your striking is stiff. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, you know what I'm saying? And then, after, you know, I guess that whole press tour with Jose was so big, he always felt like he had to, like, you know, top that. And, you know, he just started you know, calling people fucking rats and, you know, attacking people's families. And, you know, it wasn't the same still to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when he told Dustin, he was like, your wife's in my DMs. Like, I laughed when he first said that, but it's at the same time, it's like, come on, Connor, like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's clearly not in your DMs. You're just saying that to say it, you know, but whatever.
Right. For both of you guys, this is the host of me. You ready? When did you guys first meet? And then I would love your first reaction, because everyone is going to be a UFC star and everyone's going to be 3-0 in bare knuckle. But we know in real life that shit doesn't happen. Like what both of you guys done over the last 18 months is pretty, you know, amazing. Did you guys think that about each other? Did you guys think, oh, that's just another wannabe fighter? I would love your guys' take. And Taylor's ready. She's chomping.
I'm ready because I remember when I first saw or heard of Bryan Battle was when he was fighting Impa Kasanganay. And so Impa was my teammate at the time when I was training over at Jimmo. So Impa was my teammate. And I remember I was taking like an amateur boxing match and I'm laying up in the hotel room at the day of my fight or something, or the day before. And I'm watching Bryan Battle fight my teammate. And my teammate was undefeated. And Bryan is just like wrestle fucking him the whole fight. And I remember I was like, no, who is this Bryan Battle guy? And then, like, you know, I was just feeling for my teammate and like, man, that sucks. And then I met him in person. I'm like I met him at Modern Warrior at the gym, like open mat or something. I remember I'm like, this is that Bryan Battle guy. And like, he's so nice. But I remember the first time I seen Bryan at all in person, he was sparring somebody. And Bryan likes to talk shit when he's sparring or like grappling or anything. It's just like his way, like he'll be like, okay,
it's greatly exaggerated, but so maybe sometimes I'll say something.
And like I remember like seeing him, and I like went and I was like, guys, I think he's getting in a fight over there. And like, they were like, oh no, that's just like how Bryan is. I remember I met him and like sparred with him and stuff. I'm like, he's so fucking cool. Like so cool. But I remember like just seeing you beat up Impa and I was like, I don't like that Bryan guy. Like I love Impa.
Man. Well, and it's funny because I remember the day that we first met in person, like formally, pretty vividly. Before that, you know, there's this thing called I want to say Carolina Fight Life.
Okay.
The Carolina Fight Life, and you know, I seen Taylor and I see, you know, because, you know, if you're in the same area, you know, anybody's doing any kind of work, you kind of have an idea who they are. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so then I went to Monwar, like she said, and I saw her, right? I saw her with my eyes and I was like, all right. So I know who she is, but I don't know if she knows who I am. So I'm going to play it cool, put my gear down, and come over and introduce myself. That was my plan. I was like, I'm going to play it cool, go put my gear down, go say, hey, you're Taylor, right? I'm Bryan, blah, blah, blah. And so before I could even do that, she was like, hey, Bryan. I was like, ah, shit. Well, so much for playing it cool. I was like, hey, what's happening? I was like, what's up, dude?
And then the funny thing is, my favorite thing is like when I get to spar with people who've never sparred with me before. So like I don't know if we sparred that day or like sometime after that or something, but I remember like punching Bryan and Bryan's just like, okay, you brought that life. You brought that life. Like we're gonna.
So I would love. I know everyone listening and watching is going to say this. Like, wait a second, Taylor Starling, 125, soaking wet. You know, Bryan Battle. You know what I mean? 204, 203. You know, going down. You guys go at it like, and when you do, Bryan, if you know what percentage, because I would assume, and I know in sparring, you're probably never really going 100, you know, in sparring, but you know, are you going 75, 80 against Tay?
With Taylor, it's more about trying to one, volume. Two, keep your hands up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, honestly, I feel like if I threw a really hard punch at Taylor, right, and it landed super clean, and even if it did hurt her, she wouldn't say anything, right? Like Taylor, like if I would have accidentally given Taylor a concussion, she wouldn't say anything, and then it's like, oh, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No, I always have a great time sparring Taylor, just because it's just like, as long as you're like not being an idiot, you know what I'm saying? Taylor, she's not a bum. She knows what she's doing. She can handle herself. I've seen her beat up some guys before. So basically Taylor, I basically punch about as hard as I would with any other 25er. So and my teammates are all like, highest stand traditionally has a bunch of small guys. So it's just sparring, speed, not power, has just been something that I've done for a long time. So, Taylor's, she'll come in there, she'll crack me about 8 times before I had the chance to throw one punch. It's always a good time. It's fun. You know what I mean?
And then my favorite too is like when someone hasn't sparred me yet. Like some of the guys from highest stance that where Bryan trains have come in and like never sparred me before. And Bryan kind of just like comes to the cage and he's just like, I'm ready to watch what's about to go down. Because like they don't expect what's gonna come out of me, and Bryan's just like, I gotta watch this shit. And like,
well, yeah, I mean, and if Taylor talks about me being intense during sparring, she's way more intense than I am during sparring. Like some of those, like sometimes you're like, oh man, this is a fight. Like it's not a question.
Who was it? One of his teammates, one of our friends, E-Man. He also has a podcast. We've sat and we like talked with him, and he talked to me about like being a woman fighter and everything like that. I don't think he ever like sparred a girl, and he talked to me about fighting and all this. So I'm like under the impression like, oh, he, has sparred with women, knows women fight life, like stuff like that. And I remember he went in the cage and we sparred, and he wouldn't hit me, and I was just like, I ain't no fucking bitch, and I like hit him, and then he's like, oh shit, and then I remember afterwards he was like, damn. Like, you changed my, like, outlook on, like, women fighters because, like, you're in there fucking me up. And I'm like, well, hit me.
Facts.
One more for you, Bryan, then we'll do that fun swarm at the end, and we'll let you run, man. We appreciate your time. All right.
Thanks for having me.
Taylor knows this, and this is why Taylor and I have this great connection. We talked 3 years ago, and maybe Taylor's career wasn't where she wanted to be, right? But when the first time I ever talked to her, and then like you said, you look up people and you see them and you see what they're saying and their fights and how they fight. The first time I ever talked to Taylor Starling, and the first time we talked, I don't want to throw somebody, it wasn't Taylor Starling, it was a different last name, but it was Taylor's, right?
Yeah.
I knew deep down in my soul that Taylor Starling was going to be a superstar one day. Like I tell her this all the time. I knew whatever kind of, she just needed to find the niche and a home and whatever and work it through. I just knew that she was going to absolutely not even make it, like explode, right? Yeah. Like I knew that. When did you know that? Like, when was it with sparring or training? Was it just watching her at Knucklemania almost coming up on a year from now? It's like, wow, okay. Like because sometimes, there's a lot of practice players. There's a lot of guys in the gym that looks great, but then the lights come on and there's 600 people in a real tight arena. They don't throw. Like, Aspen Ladd 3 months ago did throw one punch. It's like you in a fight. When did you know that Taylor Starling was going to absolutely be Killer B?
Man, well, so I always have confidence in my people going into fights, especially I knew Taylor was going to win her fight. Now, the whole fight of the year, like that was crazy. Like I was like, oh my goodness. Like, when you see people from different parts of the country posting like BKFC clips and like Taylor's there, and you're like, damn, I don't think they knew who she was 2 days ago. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And so like, it was one of those things where I was always confident that she was going to win her fight. So, it was like inevitable But I definitely didn't think after the first fight, like it was going to be, would you get like 70,000 Instagram followers after that one? Like that was
like wild.
that was wild. Like just watching all of that take place, I was like, hell yeah. That's
You know what's funny? My favorite thing to do after I fight, and it's crazy because I'm dead serious. Like after every fight now, the first thing I do is go, like when I do finally get that second to like look at my phone, I always go to Bryan Battle's where he has posted a story. Like, cause as for homies, we're always shouting each other out. We're like, you know, go get that dub, whatever. Oh look, Taylor Starling's on TV. She's about to fight and win. Bryan Battle's commentary on my fighting is hands down one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my life. That's like awesome. His reaction, like when I fought Cassie Robb and demolished her in like 28 seconds, his reaction was like the best thing ever. So I literally every fight will go and look and see what Bryan said like instantly when I'm on my phone after my fight.
There you go. There you go. So the next time, guys, that Taylor Starling fights in Bare Knuckle FC, make sure you follow Pooh Bear Battle on the IG, and you gotta watch
be commentary. Every fight, there will always. I will always.
I gotta hire you. I gotta get them to bring you down for BKFC.
Hell yeah.
Hey, if they bring you down to the commentary desk, someone will attack you outside the stage. That's what happens with Mike Perry and Julian Lane. Like you get attacked down there.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? And that was just, dude, BKFC, they're wilding out there. Man. Didn't Hector Lombard get a table flipped on him?
No, he did that, and then Hector Lombard like punched Lorenzo Hunt in the face in the ring, like served him that fucking.
Brian, that's only half of it. There was so much shit backstage. It was crazy when Taylor was like literally warming up. And like I've been backstage a couple times, but like probably this was the highest level. And it's a big bare knuckle FC event. I thought it'd be very sacred and very organized. It was a goddamn circus back there, Brian. There's like fights backstage. People are yelling. It was crazy, like
fighting,
wrapping hands. It was a circus.
Yeah.
Like the ghetto, it was ghetto. Bare knuckle is fucking wild.
It is wild. All right, so you ready for that swarm?
Let's get it, baby.
All right, here we go. Another high-end, catchy intro. Now.
Right,
Get ready. Here comes The Swarm with Dave Van Auken and Taylor Starling.
$25,000 laters, baby. We got intros and outros. We doing it.
Hey.
Yeah, I like the little guitar riff on that. That's badass. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, so we'll bounce. We'll go question. Tay, I'll start, and then you just run with it.
All right, let's go.
And then first thing, it's not even a long explanation thing, Brian. First thing pops in your head. You ready?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Your favorite all-time movie?
Friday Night Lights.
Okay. This was a fan one. What's your favorite liquor?
Crown Apple. I don't know. Is that lame?
I like man of taste. You have
I can drink it by itself. I can mix it with the Sprite or whatever. You know, Crown Apple. Yeah.
Okay.
Your favorite all-time professional wrestler?
Oh, professional wrestler all time. Oh man, that's a really good question. I probably have to go with the Undertaker. I gotta go with the Undertaker off the top of my head. Easy, simple. You know what I'm saying? Not very controversial. Go with the Undertaker.
All right, I know the answer to this one. You can answer it super quick. Where were you working before you became the Ultimate Fighter?
Man, which job? There's so many jobs. Chick-fil-A was the big one.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
A lot of Chick-fil-A, a lot of chicken flipped, a lot of frozen.
The Lord's chicken. It was the Lord's chicken.
A lot of the Lord's chicken, a lot of fries made, a lot of cars I had to walk stuff out to. You know, it was definitely. There's times where I was taking out trash at Chick-fil-A and I was like, I fucking hate this. But it was like, that was one of the things that kept me in the gym because I was like, I hate this so much. When I get to the gym, I'm going to train my fucking ass off.
Isn't it the best when you sit and think about that moment and you're like, man, I remember fucking taking the trash out of Chick-fil-A and I was like, I'm going to be the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, basically.
True story. This story has never been said on any podcast. 17, maybe 18 years old. I worked at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, shit.
One night on a Friday night, it was a little cloudy. I ate 100, not 80, not 90, 100 chicken nuggets / tenders in one session. My shift was 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. 100 nuggets and tenders in one night.
Oh hell yeah!
How did
It's
you feel
good.
afterwards?
It's
How did you
good.
feel afterwards?
I was 18 years old. I think I drank after. That was fine, man.
Hell yeah.
Look at this machine right here, man.
Hell
I wake up, I piss excellence, you know?
In the words of Ray Lewis, I'm a machine jerk. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about right now. That's what I aspire to.
Your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip, because I'm bougie.
Oh, not bougie. All right. Oh, see, this is where I like draw the blanks here now. Okay, I want the victory regimen. Like when you fight, you're out of camp, everything. Like, what is all the bad stuff you want to do? I need like a rundown.
Oh man! First things first. I need to get some booze in me, like a nice cold beer. Like literally immediately after the fight, if I could get a Voodoo Ranger, tall boy, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I like to dance. You know what I'm saying? If I could go somewhere and start dancing, you know what I'm saying? That's always a move. I mean, obviously eating stuff like, and that's a dangerous one because that's like I feel like a junkie sometimes when I eat after fights and I just like spiral out of control.
Yes.
After TUF, like my ankles and wrists were so swollen, like I looked like a pregnant woman because I was just eating so much, dude, eating and drinking so much. But yeah, but like immediately after the fight, if I can get a tall boy, a Voodoo Ranger, if I can go somewhere and dance a little bit, and if I can find myself some nice CBD somewhere, you know what I mean?
There you go.
And you know, we're all living good. You know what I'm saying? It's a good time.
There you go. Last one for me. After the last couple of weeks in the month, how many kids do you want?
Oh man, I want 4 altogether. So 3 more. 3 more. My wife does not want 4 altogether. So she wants 3. She wants 3. I know that might be for the best. I don't know, but you know, I had a bunch of siblings growing up. I had 5 sisters growing up. So
yeah.
You know, and then having Miles, I think he spoiled us because he's like a pretty chill baby.
Oh yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like there's times where I'll bring him to the gym and I'll forget that he's there because he's just sitting there being quiet and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like our next baby is gonna like kick all that out of us. I feel like our next baby is gonna be hell on wheels, and after that baby, I might be like, yo, this is it, dude. I can't do this again. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Now that he's getting a little personality, Mr. Miles, what are there any like weird quirks or anything that he does or anything that like stands out to you?
Well, I mean, like, you know, he's got a little bit of the RBF, you know what I'm saying? He gets that
from mama.
He gets that from his mother. I'm not gonna get in trouble for saying that. She knows.
I mean it in a good way. I remember I first met Caitlin and I was like, I don't think she likes me. And Brian's like, oh, that's just her face.
No, everyone is like, the first time they're like, is she mad right now? I'm like, no.
She's actually
not
really
mad at all.
excited.
Yeah, she's like all giddy and shit, but no. So he's definitely got a little bit of his mother's RBF. But you know, when he does smile, I don't know if it's because he's so like straight faced all the time. When he does smile, you're just like, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? Are there like sunshines and rainbows outside? Like you just lit up my whole world, you little,
that's awesome.
Like little dude. But yeah, we'll see. He's starting to talk now. You know what I mean?
Noises.
Yeah, he's like
chatter.
Yeah, it's making me nervous. I'm like, I hope you don't talk this much when you grow up. That's good.
It never stops, man. It never stops.
But no, I love it. Man. It's awesome.
Man, like, I'm so pumped. Like this is you can't put into words. There's just so much connected. All 3 of us. It's this triangle of grind and work and putting in so much effort and years, and just to see where we're all at the beginning of 2022 and how we're all thriving and striving and kiss stealing, wheel dealing, that Ric Flair line, whatever it is.
Hell yeah.
It's awesome, man. It's so great to see where we all started, where we kind of first all met and started talking, and to see where we're all at now. It's pretty incredible. And yeah, man, just proud and happy to be a part of this group.
Hell yeah.
No, it's different when, you seeing your people come up from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? When you, that's why, like, Tay, like, I'm happy that she's at Mon Warrior. Like, she came when she did. It was like the synchronicity. You know what I'm saying? It was like
greatness.
Yeah. It's like cool to be able to, like, when stuff is happening, if I'm ever curious, I'm like, hey, Taylor, how do you handle this on social media? You know what I'm saying? Like, get the perspective from someone who's, like, doing the same thing right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, it's definitely, eventually, one of these days, it's like, if I ever have a podcast question, I know the first person I'm going to ask is Mr. David Van Auken. You know what I'm saying? So it really is cool. It definitely
awesome,
is.
Man. Yeah, the next time we all do this, the next time we'll get Bryan on the show, spoiler alert, we're going to somehow get Jillian the Savage Robertson and Bryan Battle together, and we're just going to eat spinach and broccoli and string beans, a lot of green.
Whoever can eat the most greens.
Yeah, whoever can eat the most green, and loser goes underneath the table. We'll just leave it like that.
Listen, I would eat one little tiny little puff, if you will, off my greens, and I would be under the table and, like, be willing, like, just like, help me.
You guys are the absolute best. Bryan, appreciate you.
Yes,
February 5th, go get that W. Bring it back.
Go, Bryan.
Continue success.
I'll see you on Sunday.
Yes, get it.
And here goes this $25,000 outro. Peace, guys. Appreciate you guys. We love you so much for watching, listening, download, subscribing. We'll see you guys next week.